Hi guys! So I just wanted to show you some of the books in our Peek Inside Fairy Tales series. Some of you talk about how your kids or you want your kids when your baby's born, Kim, to like princesses. Allie, I know that you wrote about your daughter liking princesses, and so I thought about these books. One of them is Cinderella because, well, I'm talking about it because Allie talked about Cinderella. And yeah, these are just a few of our fairy tales. There's only three right now. We have Little Red Riding Hood, Beauty and the Beast, and Cinderella, and they are all just fabulous. Jen, I think that your kids would probably like these. I don't think these all by themselves would help your kids to start would just get a huge love of reading from them, but I think that they would be interested in these books, and I think it would help them get further along their path towards becoming book lovers and bookworms. And Lauren, I also thought of you with these books. You said that your child likes fairies, and so I thought of fairy tales. I don't know if she likes these specifically, but I think that she might be interested. Usborne Books and More uses the latest educational research and pedagogy to ensure that their books truly are the books kids love to read, which is their slogan. These books are colorful, and something that I just noticed is that they are made from acid-free paper. Something that's so great about the Peek Inside series is that it's a simple story, but it's more complex than other books with peek holes. I have one for Usborne Peek Inside Animal Homes, and I just got this in the mail today, and there are a lot of flaps, but the story isn't as complex, and the detail with the peek through holes isn't as complex as in the fairy tale stories. The flaps are fun. These books are super interactive, and they are beautiful and have such detailed illustration. I was looking through Cinderella, and there's this part, and you can see their house, and then you open it up, and her stepsisters say that she can't go to the ball with them. And I was looking at this little cutaway, so it shows their back door, and then when you open it, they have a hole that looks just like a doorknob on the door. And then over on this side, they colored the door to be the same color. It's still gray. I mean, details like that, I don't know how people come up with, but I am so grateful that I get to read and enjoy their creations. They're made with paper from a sustainable source, and they just have these brilliant colors. So I'll talk about each one of these three books a little bit more in depth. So this is our Peek Inside a Fairy Tale, Little Red Riding Hood. And something I love about this one, and all books, but I particularly noticed in this one, is it's a great book to practice the comprehension skill of making predictions. So you open it up, and we all know how Little Red Riding Hood goes. And here she is going along the path. There's lots of cutaways. You can see there's an animal here, there's a little bunny, and there's still here on the next page. And as you can see, the wolf is right here, and you can make a prediction about what you think is going to happen. You can ask your kids about that, and that's a super powerful comprehension strategy. And I teach second grade, and I've taught first grade for a few years, and making predictions is one of the strategies that we work on every single week. It's super important, and it would be a great benefit to your children if you were also working on that with them. And I really like how it says Little Red. So there's another comprehension strategy about character development, which is such an interesting part of reading and watching movies and just all kinds of media. And when we meet people, we want to know about their characters, and it just makes things so much more real and helps us develop a connection. So it says, Little Red Riding Hood skipped along and saw some pretty flowers. Grandma would like those, she thought, and so she wandered off the path to pick them. And I would ask my kids right here, how do you think Little Red Riding Hood feels if she's skipping along? And you can pull in her facial expression if she feels like she can leave the path, and talk about that with your kids. And then there's these cutaway illustrations help kids to be able to see an inside view so they can actually see the food that she's bringing along, which this is just a simple version. It just says, will you take this basket of food to her? It doesn't talk about specifics, but in that picture you can see the specifics. So those are just the first few pages of Little Red Riding Hood. Also, there's Beauty and the Beast. This one is brand new. It was released just this January, so 2017. And something that I really love about this is the facial expressions on the characters. It's like you can see what Belle is thinking and what the Beast is thinking. And I love this. Beast is holding a bird. It's a great foreshadowing tool, showing that he really is kind and loving and has a good heart, and showing that Belle helps him to get there. And I wanted to show you the facial expressions on this page as well with Belle and her father. This is when he comes home with the rose. And I love this part. So here they are in the castle. Belle's here, and there's a portrait of the prince. And you can see the Beast is spying on her. And then you turn the page. Here's another portrait of the prince. And you can see Beast is spying again. Shows how timid he is. And sorry, there. So there's the prince. And then when you turn this cutaway uses that same portrait of the prince, and she sees him in her mirror and gets to know the prince and just another facet of the Beast character. And there are just lots and lots of layers of character development in these books, and lots of material to discuss and explore. You can see through the window here to outside. I think this is amazing. So Beast is hiding, then he comes out, and look, these just line up perfectly. It's so much detail, it's amazing. And then Cinderella, this one's also new from this year. They released it in January as well. And Allie, this especially would be great for your daughter with her current love of Cinderella. So going back to this page, I know I showed you part of it, but we see inside her house, and they're talking about how everyone is invited, and Cinderella asks, can she come? And it says, certainly not, shrieked her stepsisters. Just great vocabulary that we want our kids exposed to, that we want them to know what it means and be able to understand and learn from context. If we go to, sorry, it was in the same page. I wrote notes, so I'm just looking at those. So right here, the stepsisters continue and say, you're too dirty and ragged to come with us. Ragged isn't a word that we hear super commonly, but it's a really important word. It's very descriptive, and it's a great tool for authors to be able to use. And you can say, well, John, if I were to ask my son, what do you think ragged means? And I could help him to look at her picture, her apron, at her dress, at her cap, and talk about what ragged means and learn more about Cinderella from that as well. We have a lot of testing in schools. And as a teacher, I hear so many people complaining about kids not knowing what this word means or what that word means. And it's true. It makes the test harder if the kids don't know what the word means. But your kids' teachers don't have time to teach every single word explicitly and clearly and to ensure that every single child memorizes that. It's completely impossible to expect teachers to do that. And as a parent, that's impossible for you to do as well. You teach your kids lots and lots of words, but you can't teach them every single vocabulary word they're ever going to encounter. But you can teach them the comprehension strategy of how to figure out what an unknown word meaning is from the context clues. And these books provide great opportunities to do that. There are flaps within flaps in here. So here we're on the side with her fairy godmother. And here's the first flap that we turn. And then here's the second flap. So it's just so beautiful. And they're simple text and colorful pictures, which makes them perfect for kids who are just learning to read. And it's good for your pre-K kids because it gets them excited. They can interact with the books, and these are really sturdy. So, with all flap books, I watch my kids with supervision. They don't get to read them by themselves. We've had too many books just torn to pieces. But this is one that my 1.5-year-old can read and that he loves. He really likes just fingering all these different intricate details and just exploring all of that with not just his eyes, but also his fingers and his mouth, as most babies do. So that is Cinderella. Sorry, this video got kind of long, but that's our Peek Inside Fairy Tale series. Thanks for watching.